What is going on, my high city?
Woo! Woo! Baby! Yes! Yes! Cheers. In a game of butt cheeks, old middle school football team could scheme a better offense than Adam Gase. What's going on, guys? So, welcome back to our series where we are talking about the teams that are eliminated from the Stanley Cup Playoffs. I know it's been a while since the last one, but obviously I've been working on a few things that in the Avalanche series got a little hectic with the Blues, and trust me, that'll be one to talk about at some point. But so I was focused on that series, but we're here talking again. Let's talk about the Dallas Stars. Now, in my opinion, the Dallas Stars, now a lot of the teams I'm talking about, I don't see too many bright futures for so many of these teams. Like, for example, Washington, I don't see that bright a future in. Boston, I don't see that bright a future in, and I'll get to them. The Penguins, I don't really see a bright future in. There are plenty of teams where I have questions about what they'll be going forward. I don't have that with Dallas, but I do think they need an identity reset. So here's the thing. They've had a weird dichotomy over the last 10 years. They make the playoffs and they miss it, make it, miss it, make it, miss it. They've had some great talent, but unfortunately a lot of it was aging. Like Ben Bishop, great goaltender, near the end of his career, had to retire this past year due to injuries. Anton Khudobin, the guy who took him to the 2020 Cup Final, fantastic run for him. He completely fell off a cliff this year. It wasn't that great last year. So it's been an up and down roller coaster for Dallas. And this year, I think we're starting to see one core age itself out, and the new one is starting to form. For Jake Oettinger, we have to start with him. Jake Oettinger was absolutely spectacular in these playoffs. Looks like a future top 5 goaltender in the league. He's absolutely exhilarating. He was far better than anything that they've had up till this year. I don't even know how they could justify sticking with Khudobin and Holtby for that long, with Oettinger just waiting with the Texas Stars in the minors. Now, I get it, they didn't want to rush him, but I think once Ben Bishop was injured, I don't think there was any debate that it was time for Oettinger to have a regular role. And he's the only reason that series with Calgary went to 7 games. If Oettinger is not in there, I think that probably that series is over in 5 if Dallas is lucky. He was spectacular in that Game 7 that they ended up losing. And I think Dallas has 2 young players that are starting to show the faces of a future core they can build around. Miro Heiskanen and Jason Robertson. They both look phenomenal. I should say they look really, really good. I'll just say that. They look good. And I like Robertson. I like Heiskanen. I think, though, that even they have some players still there, like even Kiviranta. But I think guys like Klingberg and Suter are going to take up a lot of their hits, and I don't think those guys are really going to help them go over the top. They have a lot of aging players that they need to start, in my opinion, moving out. Rick Bowness has retired, so now there's the hunt for their next head coach. And this is where I talk about their identity reset. Past couple of years, it has been balls out defense, balls out goaltending, hope we get 2 or 3 goals to win. They don't really score a lot. If you can get 3 to 4 on the Stars, it's not going to be close. And I think it is time for them to adapt more to the offensive side. And I think Robertson and Heiskinnen are a start to that. In terms of potential head coaches, one that came to my mind in terms of if they want to stick with the style they've had for the last few years that I think would fit them would probably be Barry Trotts. Because Trotts has kind of been that style always. He's always been doing more with less, which, to be fair, is what Dallas could probably use. You have some really talented young guys. You have a fantastic goaltender. If you bring in Trotts, he could be just what Dallas needs to spark it. Granted, his style is similar to Bonus, which a lot of Stars fans didn't like, so there's a chance that they probably don't go Barry Trotz. I don't blame them if they don't want to go with Barry Trotz. He's obviously the hot coaching candidate out there. I would recommend they stay as far away from Peter DeBoer as possible. Yeah, he'll be more to the offensive side, and yeah, he'll definitely get your offense going, and he'll probably make the playoffs under him. but there is no way Dallas will ever become a contender with Peter DeBoer leading the charge. It will always be, they'll kind of run into maybe like a Colorado or a Calgary or a Minnesota or a St. Louis. They'll run into a team with better coaching and deeper talent, and they'll manage to win out if you're forced to run with Peter DeBoer. So I would recommend Dallas either look outside the organization. I would recommend Dallas look either elsewhere, find maybe an unknown, and see if you could develop a coaching prospect there. Look at some of the assistants of teams that have recently been fired, or you could even look in-house if you really wanted to. But I think Dallas needs to start building their identity. Maybe you don't have to go completely skill. Like, maybe not the other extreme. Like, okay, we've been rock solid defense. Let's go the exact opposite and go pure offense. Maybe you could have a balance of both. Maybe you can be like, okay, we will have our skill guys, but we also want our grit and sandpaper, because that's what you need in the NHL. You need those tough guys that if the series gets tough, if it gets more physical, especially deeper in the playoffs, you need those guys that can answer the bell, especially if you're going up against a team like Calgary, who they were playing in the first round. I think Dallas has a future that they can look forward to. I think they have a core that is starting to assemble, but they need an identity reset. They need to stop going with the same old way that they've done it before. Let the youth start to form what they can do and build yourself around that. I think that this past year, despite the playoff elimination, it's a good show of what could happen for Dallas in the years to come, as long as you don't run Oettinger into the ground. I think keeping on Braden Holtby is not a bad idea as a backup, just my opinion. So, I think Dallas, that loss to Calgary has to hurt, but you've got a real bright future. Just don't get too greedy. Pace yourself. I think they'll be just fine. Let me know what you guys think of the Dallas Stars in the comments below. In a couple days, I will have the Boston Bruins coming up. They're interesting to talk about. And then I'm going on a little vacation, but before I do, I will try to get up the LA Kings. I'll try to get that video up. Anyways, that's it for me. Hope you guys really enjoyed the video. Be sure to comment, subscribe if you haven't already. Hope you guys have a good one, and I will see you guys in the Boston video. See you guys later.